the internet with a fake avatar so they could troll or whatever. I often get comments from people telling me, oh, you're supposed to be natural, why are you wearing all that makeup? Or, you're supposed to be natural, why do you have all those fake eyelashes and things like that, or nails? Thank you. and I'm just like, what's natural for me is me being authentically me. And if that means I want to do my makeup, I'm going to do that. If that means I want to put on something else, I'm going to do that. And I can't fit this under a wig, but say I had shorter locks, and if I wanted to put on a wig, I can do that and I will still be natural because I'm expressing myself the way I wanted to express myself. And I think that's what really matters, and that's what makes you natural.
You just took my word. Not authentic.
Oh.
I'm just curious what you all want to see more of, kind of moving forward, like be it from like the YouTube community or even like the hairstyling community. Like, what do you think we need more of? Because I know for a while the conversation was, oh, well, we don't really see people with natural hair, but now that we're starting to see people with natural hair, like, what else do we need? Like, what do you feel like is missing? What do you want more of? Things like that.
Well, of course, I'm going to say we need to see more women with locks on the mainstream, and that's part of my mission. You know, I want to get it out, get more visibility for us, because I do feel like there are more and more women with natural hair. Look at Issa Rae on Insecure. So we are getting more visible natural hair, but I would like to see specifically the LOCS community get some more time.
I think one of the cool things that I had the opportunity to work on last semester was the pre-production side of a documentary web series about Black women and their relationship to their naturally curly hair. And the whole concept of it was that it's cross-generational, and so that's something that I would love to see more of in, especially being an actor in film and media, because you might have the older end of teens and 20-somethings who will showcase natural hair and they're like, wow, like I'm embracing it and that's awesome. But I would love to have an 8-year-old when I was 8 showing that as well, and women who were in their 60s who grew up where relaxers were everything and all they did was straighten their hair. I would love for them to have someone as well embracing so that you can see yourself reflected.
I think for me, I would want to see more, I want more education for people who are natural, because sometimes even within the natural community, there's still like a divide. It's like, okay, my hair's a little, I'm a 4C, I'm a VA, I'm a 4D, you know, all that. And then that becomes like now the 3 A's against the 4 C's, you know, so it's kind of like, I think that this needs to be more of an education to know that all hair is good. First of all hair is good hair. So we're going to just demolish that bad hair. All hair is good hair. And all hair textures have benefits and downsides, like good sides and downsides. Because what a 4C can do, a 3A cannot do. Trust me. And vice versa. So I think that it just needs to be an education that all hair is good hair. There's no such thing as bad hair. And if your hair is kinky and woolly, it is just amazing as if it's silky and curly. So as long as people just really get that and not make a divide even within the natural community, I think we'll be better off here.
But I know when I started, like I didn't know my texture at all, so I was trying to guess like am I 4A? And even my younger sister here taking pictures. She has longer hair than I, like all my sisters. We all have different hair textures, which is cool because her hair can take on the more curly styles and it falls more, and it just each style we can all do the same style, but it would look different. But I love what the media is turning into with the natural hair movement. I know like in middle school I decided, oh, I want to do this. It was still really new, but I feel like it grew into something more beautiful, and seeing Black dolls with natural natural hairstyles, and I'm like, I wish that was around when I was playing with my Barbie doll. So I'm really excited to watch it continue to work.
Thank you all said some really great stuff there. Like, I agree, Jane was like the hair type thing. I remember when I first started my natural hair journey, like I was so like into what type of hair I had. Like I would pull strands of my hair out and be like, low porosity, high porosity, like all of that crazy stuff on Pinterest and all that. Like I had to know, and I was like, I'm like 4BC in the middle, I'm on the sides, and 3C. Like all of those things are like so important to me. Because it felt like it was an integral part of like calling yourself natural. Like there were certain things you had to check to be considered natural or be a part of this movement. And I think it's great now that there's a lot more breathing room for us to explore our natural hair. But even with that said, I think that for the, I don't want to say outside world, but for like when because we're in a PWI, right? And so when entering white spaces, sometimes there's still like a little bit of stigma. Like there's still been times where I have to tell people not to touch my hair. And so I guess I'm curious about like what you all have experienced going into white spaces with natural hair. Like how do you deal with that? Like has it affected your relationship with your hair or with non-Black people? Like things like that.
Well, I can say most of my childhood has been in white space. I know when I wore box braids, I mean, we are kids, but you know, they would like tie my braids and knots. And then in high school, I remember one day I got my afro to be really full and big, and I was excited, and I went. And at the end of the day, I like patted my hair, and there were paper clips in my hair. So I was like, okay. I know I did get a lot of love, but there's also, like you said, that stigma where you know, like it's just out there. Like I get comments like, "Oh wow, like you look like this person boxy wearing my hair." And I've gotten used to it. I feel like it's gotten. I'm not sure if it's gotten a little better. Maybe just admiring people who know me, but I noticed that too. Like people would just come up and touch my hair, and I feel there needs to be more, like, I guess, of a, I don't like to educate people, Caucasians, like what to do and what not to say about women's natural hair, but I feel like there should be some more, like, education on, like, what, how people should act, because there's just some kind of, like, design with that. I'm not sure how like that will continue, but hopefully it gets better and people start to respect that. That is the
Likewise, my whole childhood was pretty much a white space, and like I said, my best friend growing up was white, and I was so fine with white people touching my hair as a kid, which really bothers me now. But at the time, and I distinctly remember this like switch when I started to not like it anymore, because I remember being young and little girls would like pull my hair and it would bounce, and they'd be like, "Ooh, it's fun to play with," and I'd be like, "Yeah, my hair's cooler than yours." Like it does stuff. And I like liked it, and then I was in elementary school and this little white boy who I had the biggest crush on ever. And like boys and partners should like never affect your self-esteem, but it really did. He was kind of like, "Oh, like I think you'd be prettier with straighter hair," and I was like, and like from then on, I like was just so insecure about it and like so frustrated, and that's kind of what sparked the whole straightening thing. And then I got to college, and that was the first time I had ever heard another Black girl talk about other people touching their hair.
I never had anyone, you know, reach their hands in my hair trying to touch it or anything, but you know, I have heard, you know, like little comments, but things like that don't really bother me. I don't really know why. I don't know. That's just the kind of energy I have. And I don't experience it a lot, so maybe if I experience it more often, it would really irritate me, but yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Black spaces as well. No one really ever touched my hair either, but for the first time as an adult, I was on vacation, and this guy, he didn't speak English or whatever, and he just, "Can I touch your hair?" he just like, ooh, and I was like it just shocked me. Because I guess he liked it, but I was just like, what was that? You know, but it really didn't bother me, to be honest. But thank God though, I'm in black spaces now, like 99% of the time, except like I guess, of course, I'm out in the world a lot. But you know, like, I work with people that look like me every day, so I don't really experience that. And for the most part, people will say, like, I just asked her, can I touch it? And then I'll let them touch it. I don't have a problem with that. But as long as they ask, I don't have a problem.
Yeah. I think that's an important part because people like feel like they have ownership over you, and I think like that sometimes makes it harder to educate people when you're in a defensive position and you're like, well, you just put your hands in my hair doing that work with you. So I think like it's good to like when you're in black spaces and people kind of have that respect of like, let me ask first, if you're curious about something, and there's like a right and wrong way to ask that, and I think people who may be struggling like with their beauty as it relates to natural hair.
That's so much, because that's almost like you gotta go back and kind of teach to go forward, you know what I mean? Because it goes so much deeper than just love yourself at every stage. You can easily say that, but if you've been conditioned, I remember being little and you put the t-shirt on and it's hanging down your back and you're going like that, so it's just, who's done that, right? Yep. And so, right. So, we've all done that. So because even like with what I'm gonna just reference back, because I do this, I'll just reference back to that sometimes. But it's kind of like deconditioning my clients, like, long hair is not everything. Like, it looks like they want long hair. And I'm like, it's better to have healthy hair, all of your edges, no offense, you don't have edges anymore, but whatever. But like, all of your edges, seriously. And it's better to have full hair with edges than long strands with no edges. So, I just have to like always like, so it's just constantly a constant. I'm sorry. But it's right. Right. So it's kind of like, it's like learning, it's like having to teach like people to appreciate their hair at every stage. Okay? Yeah. Okay. I think the biggest thing is just, it's like I said, that's so layered and so deep and complex, because you just have to first understand that every stage is a good stage, and I think once you understand that, then you get kind of move forward.
As far as femininity, I feel like women in general, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of us, we just like to switch it up. So that's one of the reasons why we like to wear our hair long. We can do different styles with it or whatever. Or even when it comes to weaves and wigs and extensions, we like to change it up. And when you do a big chop, you feel like you really don't have that many options anymore, because, obviously wigs, but as far as playing with your hair, you don't really have options. So when I didn't big chop, but I transitioned, and when I cut off the end of my relaxer, my afro was pretty little. And I was struggling with my femininity. At the time, I was already struggling with my femininity because I felt like I was a tomboy already. That's when I started playing around with accessories more. I started learning how to do my makeup on YouTube more, and started to care about my clothes more. And it is what it is. We women, we do care about our appearances, and just because you big chop and cut it all off doesn't mean you have to let yourself go. You can still hold yourself up and switch it up in different areas.
I would say, and I know this is like one of those like, yeah, sounds really great, but to be patient with yourself, because you're gonna go through ups where you're really feeling everything, and then you're gonna go through downs where you just have a shitty day and you're not feeling it. And I think for me, being in the film industry has been really, really difficult for me, with especially length of hair and femininity, because when you're auditioning, agents and casting directors will try to see what's marketable about you, and right now diversity is hot in casting, so they're like really trying to find a hair token black girl put on the show, and they love that. And it's really frustrating because that was all tied to like, well, how black do you look? Therefore, your hair is your biggest commodity now. So I was always so wrapped up in my hair, and everything was always so tied to my hair. And do I look attractive enough for this role? And da da da. And I dyed my hair blonde the second semester of freshman year, and my agents were so happy. They were like, "Oh yes, it's like the perfect mesh of everything. We need you to be auditioning." And I was like, "Okay, well, I just did it because I wanted to play around, but okay." And bleaching it murdered my hair. Like, I tried so hard to take care of it, but I already have really fine hair in general, so it just broke off and all my hair was gone. And I went in for one of my meetings and they were like, "Did you cut your hair? Why did you do that?" And I was like, "No, it just kind of like broke off." And they were really upset and basically kind of put me on hold auditioning for a while until my hair started to grow back. And one should have left agents, didn't. But that period of time was really difficult for me because I was trying so hard not to let the opinions of other people affect how I felt about myself. And like I said, there were some days where I knew it was shorter and I was okay with it, and then there were other days where I really wasn't. And I just started getting braids, which is very exciting for me. My first ones were a couple months ago. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I got them and I could pick what length I wanted, I was like, "This is great. It's like instant hair, I love it." And then I took them out and then I was like, "Oh." I was like, that's what it looks like. And again, there were days where I was so happy, and then there were other days where, you know, I just wasn't. And then I put the next set of braids in, and I promised myself that throughout that stage, I wouldn't think of it as length anymore, and I would think of it as protecting my hair, and that's been a really positive spin on thing.
I agree with that when you just said, like, seeing it more as a protective style rather than like, because all throughout, since second grade, I just wear box braids, and as I got older, I just wanted them longer and longer and longer, so I can put my hair and look at the person behind me. So, and when I decided I don't want to do this anymore, I definitely felt less feminine because I was just like, my hair is so short, I'm gonna look like a boy. And it definitely took me time to like it more and more, and it urged me to take care of it so that it can get to the point where I would like for my hair to look. But I definitely struggled with that when I first wore my eyebrows. I felt bald, like I didn't have anything to touch or fix my braids or anything. I just felt like, okay, this is really happening. So, but I do think it definitely is a phase thing because I was really into just doing my hair every day. It was like a routine. And then I discovered wigs. And that has been so great because now I'm just like, I can change my hair every day and I don't have to do it. I can just leave it in cornrows. Every once in a while I like to show my hair. But it's definitely like a phase thing because even when I first started wearing wigs, when I take it off, I feel like, oh, back to this. But I've learned to love it more and more. And I, like she said, like you just have to get a protective style and not as like don't stick it to your actual appearance.
I think kind of the common denominator of what you all were saying is kind of like it is a process. Be patient with yourself. You're not just gonna wake up one day and be like, yes, it is me, the naturalista, and I love everything about my hair, and everything's great. So I think that was good again for me to hear. Also, like as I'm doing this in real time, like to know that it's okay to like not feel fantastic about your hair every single day, and like that it's okay that you don't feel amazing all the time, but that it does get better the more you work on it. So I have one more question before we're going to open it up to Q&A for the rest of the audience members. If you everyone just think back to when they started their respective processes, you started, your journey, or you started your YouTube channels or your businesses, what have you. What is something you would tell yourself back when you started, now that you know what you know now?
Probably for me to never, I wish I would have never gotten relaxed. Because if I knew then that I could, you know, I had curly hair naturally and I could kind of just wear it, but it wasn't a thing, you know, like the relaxer was a thing. So if I could be back then, before, I would have never got a relaxer. I just would have worked with my natural hair. I probably would have stuck out a little bit because at that time, natural hair wasn't a thing. So, you know, I would have had to just kind of make my own path, make my own lane, and just kind of go from there if I could go back. That's
I mean, I guess I would tell myself to just take it easy. I mean, but that's how I feel about everything. I'm a very anxious person, so I mean, I have like a lot of anxiety about everything in every area. So I would have told myself, relax. You know your hair grows, it's gonna grow, it's gonna get long. People are gonna subscribe to your channel and then ask you for tips. Like, it's not a big deal. And here's hair. Back then, when I look at my old videos, so I started my locks when I was 19 in 2010. So, and when I look at my old videos, I noticed I kept saying stuff like, I'm gonna grow my locks for the rest of my life. I just want to see how long they're gonna get down to my ankles. I just want to grow them forever. And I'm just like, girl, I don't want to give myself any sort of restrictions. Like, if I want to cut my hair tomorrow, that's my option. That's my right to do so. And yeah, that's it. Good.
I guess I would just say to be kind to my hair. I went through a lot of phases where I was just rough with it and just mean to it. I would throw it up in buns because I didn't want to deal with it, and I wouldn't hydrate it the way that it should be properly hydrated. Like, I just didn't want to deal with it. That wasn't nice. So I think I would just not ever dye it blonde again.
I definitely tell myself to have more patience. I did not know a thing when I decided to work my hair out. I just tried to mimic what I saw on YouTube, and I would be really insecure at the length, even though people would tell me I had long hair, I wasn't satisfied. And I'd also always go on Instagram and see girls with just long, beautiful hair, and I'd be like, how? She did her big chop a year ago and it's longer than mine. I'm like, how? But I just have to remember, like, there's a lot to do with it, genetics and all that. I tell myself to be more patient, take more care of it, and don't be discouraged.
That was very insightful. Wow. Thank you so much for indulging my questions. I'm going to open it up to the audience now. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm a first year at Kindle. And one thing I'm really big admiring is how symbolic hair can be. And I don't know if y'all watched that kind of remember. Yeah. I don't know if y'all remember that one episode when Viola Davis, y'all know my sister retired, and she just took off her wig and took off her makeup. And I think it was a gift, so y'all saw it. But no, like that moment was like really raw, and you don't really see it that much in the media. So I guess my question is for y'all, like, what does being natural mean to you?
To me, it's just being whatever you were born with and nothing else. I think that's all I can say about it. If I talk too much more, I'll probably go away from that idea, but I feel like it's just everything you've been born with and nothing artificial, nothing else, nothing that has to chemically change or surgically change. Being natural is just what you were born with.
First off, yes, we need more Black women in writing. I'm very excited about it. I loved that moment. That was like everything with me in my childhood, and my grandma lived on screen. I was very happy. And And to me, I think being natural means embracing who you are and not conforming to the white Western ideals of beauty, and knowing that we are beautiful just the way that we are, and we don't have to do anything to fit someone else's idea of it. And I also think there's a lot of beauty in the choice of it, because if you want to relax your hair all the time and that's what makes you feel beautiful, that's okay. That's you, and that's what makes you happy. But if choosing to be natural is what's best for you, then I think that's really awesome. You should also try it.
I agree with that. I want to speak a little bit of being an influencer. So naturally, you know, a lot of people are on the internet with a fake avatar so they could troll or whatever. I often get comments from people telling me, oh, you're supposed to be natural, why are you wearing all that makeup? Or, you're supposed to be natural, why do you have all those fake eyelashes and things like that? Thank you. and I'm just like, what's natural for me is me being authentically me. And if that means I want to do my makeup, I'm going to do that. If that means I want to put on something else, I'm going to do that. And I can't fit this under a wig, but say I had shorter locks, and if I wanted to put on a wig, I can do that, and I will still be natural, because I'm expressing myself the way I want to express myself. And I think that's what really matters, and that's what makes you natural.
You just took my word. About authentic.
Oh.
And I think that being natural is more of an attitude also, because it's like what you said is 100% correct. It's just being your authentic self and whatever. Well, if we're talking about just life in general, it's just being authentic to who you are. And as far as hair, I just agree with what everyone said, that this is what rolls out of your head. And the level of comfort you feel, like, you know, with what rolls out of your head. And yeah, that's what I think natural.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Juliana. I'm a junior in Tisch studying acting, and like my main question is just like for me, like I've been natural honestly for about 8 or 9 years, because I used to get relaxers as a child as well, and then I always just put them in productive styles. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm natural, but like I never really wear my hair out, because it's so frustrating since it's not the same texture it was when I was born. It just dries out really fast. And since being natural is popular now, there's so many products that claim to do these things, so that it gets so overwhelming. And then trying to go to YouTube to find somebody to sort of follow their journey that works specifically for their hair, that's even more overwhelming, because there are thousands of videos. So do you have like any advice on sort of like, if you're going to try and like wear your natural hair out more, like be patient with it and learn about it, how to start that journey? Because like, I don't know, for me it's just like, it makes me really frustrated, and I just go to because like it makes me almost bitter and upset, because I'm like, well, you know, like it's easy for this like black girl to just wake up and wet her hair and it looks amazing, or it's easy for this person to just like twist their hair and it looks perfect. But for me, it's 8 hours to wash it and blow dry it and then like pre-coo and all that stuff.
Well, I would say you have to become a student of what grows out of your head. Period. And that's it, because I love YouTube, because I have a channel too. But YouTube can trip you out sometimes. It really can. You're like, well, I looked at, I was going to call names, but I won't. But I was looking at and her hair is like you said, down here, and then my hair won't do that. Like, that girl doesn't even have your genetics. She doesn't have anything you have, right? So you have to become a student of what grows out of your head, period. Like, everyone in here is so different, and like what grows out of your head is so different. And the length, the amount that it grows, and how fast it grows, and the textures, and find out what products work with this, and what, but you have to become a student. And I think as you begin to learn your hair, just like if you have a child and you're raising your child, you start to learn your child. It's like the same thing with your hair. And so as you learn your hair, you'll learn what your hair can do. You'll learn what your hair can't do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that teaches patience too, because you become just more authentic and more honest. Like, no, my hair doesn't do what her hair does. So I think you just have to become a student of what goes out of your own head. And watch YouTube with a side eye, but not with a full front face. Watch it with a side eye.
And here's a little tip that I have. I suggest that you go to like different natural hair events and stuff like that, where they give you samples. Because a lot of those natural hair products can be really expensive. So collect those samples and try it out in a little section of your hair and see what your hair likes the best, and then you can invest your money into that way. Because if you're going to Target and buying all those products that you see is new right now and everyone's using, you're gonna spend a lot of money. That stuff is not cheap. So stack up on those samples.
I would say take advantage of summers and breaks from school to become the student. I don't want to misquote you.
No, just become a student of your own.
Yeah, to become a student of your own hair, because I think for me, I was in the same position where I would get really frustrated and bitter with my hair, but I was trying to do it at night after I'd had class all day, and then I have to wake up in the morning, and then I wake up and I have 5 minutes, and then I'm mad that it doesn't do it like a white girl in 5 minutes. But then over the summer, if you can take the time to really test out products, and you're like, oh, well, that didn't look great today, it's okay, I'm just hanging out with my parents. Like, then the next day, you can take the time you need to really play with it and understand it, so that when you come back to school, you know exactly what you like and what you don't like, and you don't have to waste any time. And so, like, with winter break coming up, that might be like a fun thing to just kind of sit for play with it, and then there's no pressure on it, 'cause it's just you and your hair figuring out what you like.
agree with that. Give yourself time. And I also agree with like going to events. That's a good idea. My breakthrough was AfroCom, and when I went there from my small town in Jersey to there, I was so overwhelmed with how many different hairstyles I saw. And it's definitely great to talk to others who may have the same hair texture as me, or not, because every hair is different. But I would talk to people and try to find out what do you do with your hair. Oh, I use this, oh, I use that too. So I would do that. And I also, when I get overwhelmed with the products you see on the shelf, I just start with basics, or I'll start with like one brand and see what works from there. Like I would just use plain olive oil and just natural things first before I go into products that do a whole bunch of different things. You can try and go through YouTube videos and reviews and all of that, but I also agree with just taking time to learn your hair and learn what your hair likes and what it doesn't like, because not all the products that claim to be for natural hair works. So
Any more questions?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Amelia. I'm on the first year of Gallatin. So I guess my question has to do with what Ariana was saying, or something about like generational. I want to know like what has been your individual experiences pertaining to like maybe how your family members have viewed your natural hair. Because I come from a West African background, I'm so believe, and my parents, I would say it's a colonial issue. Like they hate natural hair. Like I'll have family members actually telling my parents other than when I'm getting a bit straightened. So I just want to know like what has been your experience with that.
So I am biracial. My mom's family is Puerto Rican and Dominican, and then my dad's family is African American. And for me, it was a really big struggle because I didn't have the same hair as any of my cousins on my dad's side, and I always, I don't know, I guess it was hard because again I grew up in white spaces, so I still was really uncomfortable with my hair, but all of my cousins would always tell me that I was the lucky cousin, or I had like all of these things, and at the time I was really little and I didn't understand, and it like just made me more uncomfortable in my body. And then I went over to my mom's side of the family where everybody was just like, her hair is a hot mess all the time, it's frizzy, like, and you don't know how to do it, put it into my mom's like, Vivian, you don't know how to do her hair, you let her walk around like this. And it was just a horrible time on both ends of trying to figure out my hair for myself and not let my family members kind of dictate how I felt about my hair. And then with getting braids recently, my mom's side of the family was just very unsupportive. Like, they're just braids. I don't understand. And my grandpa literally was like, it looks like a mop on your head. Like, what are you doing? I was like, okay, well, thanks.
I think I was one of the fortunate ones in that, even though my family was nowhere near perfect at all, but for some reason we just kind of skipped the skin and the hair. So that was never an issue in my house. Like, we never talked about, no, really, like, it just wasn't, I mean, we had other issues, but that wasn't issue, you know. So, like, and my family is 6 kids, so, and I have a couple of sisters that are really fair, and then the rest of us. And growing up, I used to think I was dark skinned. That's how out of touch I was. I'm like, oh, I'm so dark next to my sister, you know, that kind of thing. But it wasn't a big deal. Was never made of it. You know what I mean? And hair, no one talked about hair. So that's why when people said I had soft hair, I didn't even know what that meant. You know, so for me, it's like I kind of escaped that. So, and I know for me, I always have to be patient with people like you, because sometimes I'm like, well, just wear your hair. You know, it's okay, just do it. You know, but then I'm like, wait, you know, it's like a whole generational thing, right, that happened to you. So to be honest with you, I don't know that I'm the best one in terms of like how to deal with it inside of you, like to go with it. But I agree with what you said in that you just have to like create your own family of friends that support your hair and support your look. It's beautiful. It really
Okay. I personally can't relate. My family is Caribbean. Not to sound rude, that doesn't sound rude. My family is West Indian. I have a lot of people with natural hair and locks in my family already. Although when I did first start my locks, they said something like, well, not my mom. My mom has locks herself, so she was supportive all the time. But like some of my aunts were like, oh, well, you're young. Yeah, you can experiment now. But it's 8 years later, and I'm still experimenting, right? But all I can say is, as long as you know you're doing it for real reasons, you wear your hair naturally because whatever reason you're doing it, as long as you're like confident in that, that's all that you really need, because there's always going to be naysayers, even if it's your own family, your own loved ones. But you have to get to that point of self-love where no matter what anyone else says, it can't really influence how you feel about it yourself. So that's what really matters.
I never had that experience. I can't relate either. I'm sorry, but I agree with just trying to just block out the hateful words and just stay true to what makes you feel beautiful. And if your hair makes you feel beautiful, then what anyone else has to say, even if it's your family, it doesn't matter. You know, sometimes I get like Kristen, the shit word that we today, but it really has to do with like just staying true to yourself and not letting other words. Because I can relate to what she said about Instagram, like people saying, "Oh, that doesn't look good," or "You shouldn't do this with your hair," or like growing up, I get from boys like, you know, "I'd like it better if your hair was straight," or "I like your box braids before you have this crappy vibe." So yeah, so I can almost relate, but I know family is like a whole other level. But I would just say just try to surround yourself with friends and people who appreciate your hair.
I was kind of thinking of something that I think about on my own, but you mentioned being like an actor, and I thought about like natural hair in the context of professional spaces. Because I think being in college, like it's a little bit of like talking to your friends and being like, yeah, you know, wear it out, but I'm wondering in professional spaces how that conversation might go further.
Like workplaces, not workplaces. I see.
Only because I'm just a man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a panelist, but I've been in spaces where like I have been asked to put my hair back for like hygiene reasons before. So like yeah, like I've worn my hair out, like had a twist out, was feeling myself, super cute, edges laid. And then like I would come to work and then like I get pulled aside by a supervisor like, oh, just like for hygiene reasons, like can you pull your hair back, put it in a braid? And then I was like, yeah, okay, like fine, I get it. And then like white girls would come with their hair like down to their backs and like their hair shows more than mine, and then no one asked them to put their hair in a ponytail, you know? So like you know what that means, like you know that's coded, right? So I think, and I realized that like I had privilege to be able to be like, I'm gonna quit and like not come back. And I realized like that's just not life for everybody. So like I'm not saying just quit, just quit. What I will say is when you come into it, when you're interviewing places, when you're looking at places of employment, be cognizant of the people they have. Like, do they have other Black women who are able to wear their hair the way they want to? Like, is there diversity in the way people wear their hair, or does it seem like you don't always know everyone's wearing their hair whatever way, but like, does it always seem that everyone Black just happens to all be wearing like straight long hair that pulls back and you can't, it's not curly, like being cognizant of that, like looking up like workplace rules, because a lot of times they'll create this protocol out of their ass. And like, you need to be aware, like, is this company policy or are you just like, so I think those are things you can do to kind of prevent from being in those spaces, but when you are, I think it's important to really prioritize your health and your mental health, because, we all need money to survive, but you don't want to like have to do all that at the expense of your health and your self-worth and the way you do your hair that grows in your head. You can't.
Well, there's tons of tutorials on YouTube that you can see for workplace hairstyles. Personally, before I was a full-time influencer, I had social work kind of jobs, and in those kinds of work settings, they're more Black, so I didn't have to deal with anything. And most of my bosses were Black. Well, I did have one white boss at one time. He made a comment to me and said, "Oh, I love your braids." And I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna sit down and educate you right now. But from my friends who are natural, who have different jobs, they don't wear certain hairstyles. I mean, it is sad, but they tell me that they don't wear certain hairstyles because they don't want to deal with the passive aggressive people at work, and it is a difficult thing that we have to tread lightly, because we do need our jobs and we do need our checks. So, but I don't think that it's enough to deter you away from wearing your hair naturally. Especially now, it's as LOCS and natural hair are more and more popular. I'm sure more and more bosses and people are more tolerant. I don't use that word, but are more accepting. So I don't think that you guys have to worry about too much.
Oh, well, I don't have a question. It's just more of a comment. My name is Abdul Salam. I'm actually a Brooklyn College student. I just want to commend you all for just holding this meeting. I have great respect for just this type of panel and everything that you're discussing. And I have to just commend you all 100%. Because I grew up in a very Afrocentric household. My mother has locks, but because I'm a guy, I never really had trouble dealing with long hair or anything like that. But I just want to commend you all. This is beautiful to me. Much respect.
So, do we have another question? Someone had a question, right? Oh, yes.
I'm just curious because my mom also does LOCS, and that was part of her natural hair journey. she was into that, she was supporting places, she kind of went through all the different. Like, what in your personal journey drew you to getting your hair blocked and enjoying that whole stuff? Making it.
Well, I always thought locks were beautiful. I have people in my family who have locks, cousins and aunts and uncles, and besides the fact that I thought they were beautiful, I thought that I was obsessed with like my entire life. I thought my hair was relaxed, and I just knew that every time I see people with locks, their locks are long, so I guess it's easy to grow your locks long. So when I went natural, I went straight to locks. So that's honestly it. I wanted natural hair, but I still wanted it to be long, and I didn't want to have to, detangle and just it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with loose natural hair. So props to everybody who's dealing with it. It's not for me. It wasn't for me. So
If you feel like that, I'm just going.
No, ask your question. Go ahead. Go ahead, stand up. We already made a seat. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, my name is Michael. So it was right off of what you said with the comments about like family and stuff like that, how you felt like your family was like just ostracized you in your social, like how did my hair feel and that. And I found that really interesting because like I was just thinking of my sister, like when I see her and how like my sisters and how they interacted with like I remember like one time my mom was like, I'm Nigerian, so I have to put on accents. So Sarah, if you don't change your hair and get it correct, you will go nowhere with me. But like I would look at her and like, isn't that how her hair is? Like, I wouldn't see an issue. I'm just like, let's go. Like, so it's like my question is more like how if you could take yourself back to that point, like when you're in your childhood, how would a family member been able to like help you feel better and like maybe like I'm the oldest brother, right? I'm the oldest person. So what could I have done? Like what things I could have done in situations like that to like let my mom know because she pays bills. I can't say too much. But like how can I support her like through her like so let her know like that's her hair because I don't want to see her like I've seen the effects of weave and hair glue and things like that. And I don't want her to or like straighten her hair and I don't want her to do all that stuff just because she feels like my own mom says I can't leave the house and go with her.
I don't like being cry. Well, only because I have brothers, and I just wish that my brothers are younger. I'm the oldest, and when I first came home, the first time after getting grades, I was really excited about them, and my whole family was just like thrilled, and I was like, okay. And I just wished one of my brothers would have just said they look nice. Like I doesn't even need to be like a pretty, like, oh, they look pretty. Like that's not what I wanted. I just wanted one of my brothers to just be like, stop. Like they look great. I like them. That's it. Like, and I didn't need the validation from someone else other than myself that they looked good. I liked them and I was happy. But in terms of that sister-brother bonding and that sibling support, I would have just wanted someone to be like, just leave her. Like, let her be happy. And with your sister, if your mom is saying all that stuff, be like, I think she looks good. Like, I think she looks great. Or she's happy. Let her be happy. I don't know how that will go over with your mom. If she'll get mad or not, I don't know. But like, I think that would mean a lot to your sister. And I don't know if any of you guys have siblings and maybe want to touch upon it more. But also, like, if she's ever trying to figure out what to do with her hair, just ask if you can help at all. If she needs help holding the phone while she's trying to figure something out, you can hold it for her. Just be there and be supportive. I think it would mean a lot, especially from an older brother.
I don't recommend you going up against your mom, but maybe like while your sister's like, oh man, I changed my hair and she's changing her hair, you could just be like, I think just know. Just something like that, something little because I would be a little bit afraid of mom. Yeah.
recognition is nice, like from people that you care about, you know, like again, like it's internal, like you have to be okay with your hair, but I think it's good to like have your support, like, and I'm grateful that like I've had like my sister and my mom and like tried something new, and I was like, all right, this is a new updo, we're just gonna do our best. The bobby pins are kind of looking how they look, but in like just having someone in your circle who's like, oh, it looks nice, or like, I see what you're doing, like I see the vision, you know, like sometimes it's a little wet. Sometimes he maybe gets the best of our looks and she doesn't go the way we want it to, but like having someone to support you, like something as small as that really does go a long way. So yeah. Anyone? Oh.
Hi, I'm Mimi. I'm an MCC major and I'm a transfer student, but I'm a sophomore. And I'm transitioning as of now, so I still have relaxed ends with like my natural roots coming out, and it's been 11 months, it's about to be a year, December 20th. And right now I'm kind of like struggling because I just got my braids out, and I mean, it was great while I had them. And then now that it's out, I have so much more new growth than I expected. So with the relaxed ends and like the fro coming out, it's like I don't know what to do with it. And I don't know if this happened to anyone else, but when I got my braids out, it's like my hair is really tangled, and it's so matted right now that I just don't know what to do with it. I'm at wit's end. Since I'm a new student, I didn't come with like a lot of scars and stuff, so this is all I had. And now I feel like, well, I just feel so disgusted with myself, and I don't know what to do. And if you have any advice, it's okay.
Well, I would suggest that if you're not ready to cut the relaxer off, then you have to find styles that will marry those two textures. So styles that will marry are like a rod set, because once you like do a rod, it'll like smooth out with the ends. And you just have to do styles that will mesh those two, because what'll happen is right at that line of demarcation from your natural, it's gonna break. If you don't do something to maintain those two styles, it's gonna break eventually, like the relaxed ends. So you just have, I would do like a rod set is a good style you can do, or even if you do a 2-strand, put little roller perm rods at the end to curl the straight part. But those are ways you do it. And then you can even do a twist out, like even after you do your 2-strand with the rollers, do a twist out. Because you just have, that's the main thing. You just have to mesh the styles and then keep trimming though as you go. You know, as it's growing, keep trimming and then until you're fully transitioned out.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Madison. I'm planning on locking my hair out like in the next few months. I was just wondering how you take care of your locks. Like, I'm not good at taking care of my hair, and I don't want to like, go bald.
Well, I wash my hair every 2 weeks and I retwist it probably once a month at this point. With your hair texture, just from here, it looks like you would probably use like an interlocking tool, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I wouldn't suggest that you do it yourself. I would suggest you find someone to do it for you. But yeah, there's a ton of different ways to maintain locks. And you know, some people are really, you know, into the manicured, high maintenance. Some people are, you know, more free form, like how like the Weeknd used to have his. But
I have a follow-up. Like, what's the problem with like using the word dreads instead of locks? Because like me personally, I kind of like the word dreads. Like for me, what it represents is something good. But like, just your take on it, because I'm actually have locks.
Well, yeah, I do say locks, but I personally don't have an issue with the word dreads. I say locks because I know people who have issues with the word dreads, so I'm just want to be PC for those people.
What is, I'm not sure. What is your argument? Yeah, what is it? Okay. So what is the, walk
Get it out, yo. Get it out. Okay. So what is the issue or the controversy around saying dreads as opposed to locks?
Well, dreads is the word, the full meaning is dreadful. So when people say dreadful, that's like negative, like your hair is dreadful, look at this dread, you know.
I have to disagree with that because from my understanding, Rastafarians, they're the ones who came up with the term dreads, and their hair was supposed to be a symbol of them and their love for God and their fear for God, and so and the dread means fear. So that's what it was supposed to represent. But other people took it and flipped it and made it dreadful, like, oh yeah, those dreadful locks. So like the origin is supposed to be something good, but they turned into something bad. So a lot of people who look at the negativity of it, they don't want to use the word at all. They don't want to use dreadlocks, they don't use dreads. But me personally, because I look at the origin with the Rastafarians, and they say in a good way, in a spiritual way, and so I accept the people who say dreads. I'm not gonna correct anybody if they say dreads, but I prefer to say locks just because I know people are sensitive to it.
So I know that like when you're getting locks, you're not supposed to like really know how many they're gonna put. How important is knowing how many? Like I would want to get them, but then I want them to be a lot. But then I don't know how much is too much. I don't want to get longer than they're heavy. So how many locks is too many?
That's more of a personal choice, but what I would say also is like if you have soft hair or fine hair, I would make it smaller. Because if you have soft hair, really fine hair, and they're thick, they make it heavy, and they could, like, that's what happened to me, because before I had these sister locks, I had traditional locks, like her hair, but my hair is really soft, and it's fine, and so my locks broke. They started to break, and so the lady I was going to at the time suggested these, because, first of all, to like fake the fullness, to make it really look like I have a really full head of hair. So I would say if your hair is thin, not thin, if your hair is fine, to go with smaller locks. If your hair was a little thicker, but even if it's thick, I wouldn't go with too big locks, because that would make it, like as it swells, it may make it really, really thick. But I think, do you know how many locks you have in your hair? Okay. How many locks?
That is like the most frequently asked question I get.
Okay.
I'm 94.
94. And your hair is
kind of big.
yeah, so
Yeah, I don't think it's really that important. It's like she said, it's about your preference. Because there's, you can get different sizes. Yeah.
Would they, I don't know, if you go to a stylist, do they pre-part them before? So maybe you can see how many? Is that
no, people like, I had a young lady come to me recently and she knew what she wanted. She's like, I want a C part and I want 40 locks. Like she knew exactly what she wanted. So from there I was able to, kind of give her what she wanted. But I usually, what I do is when I start the locks, I'll show the person and then I'll say, is this size good? And then you just kind of figure it out.
I'm going to stop Q&A now. I want to say thank you again so much to the panelists. Can we give them a round of applause? They are selling products in the back at that pink table where Chandra is. So if you want some products, these two ladies are selling products in the back. So please check those products out. Again, thank you y'all for coming. Use the Snapchat.